Hello everyone and welcome back to Oberlin Station and Settlement and Survival. Today we are going to be working on that southwest corner. Got to put something up there. I'm going to need some power, and I know I want another guard station. And I need to sort of maybe fence off the wall a little bit from the living quarters there, kind of move it over. And start, you know, like trimming this thing up, finalizing it, getting it to have some sort of cohesiveness, I guess. So yeah, what I'm doing right now is looking to see what I'm going to place. I got a wild hair and I said, you know what, I'm going to use some boxcar pieces. I never use boxcar pieces and I need a power station. So we're going to try and combine those two things and maybe graft something onto it to get it to go over. Now the tricky part here, of course, is since I'm using STS, all the area up here on the tracks is, all this gravelly stuff is a pain in the ass to sink into, with one exception. Yeah, here I am testing. The railways, the actual rails, are really sinkable, but everything around it is not. So it's going to be interesting to see what I do with this thing here. I mean, well, spoiler, I already know what I did with it because I pre-recorded this. But now I'm just checking out boxcars, and we're going to put a couple of generators in here to power the turrets and give these guys some power. I did want to kind of keep it away from the sleeping area, so these things are going to go near the living area, and I'm going to use the 5 power generators because their sound is lower pitched and quieter. And I didn't really think a fusion core generator would work for this particular application. It didn't seem to make sense. So we're going to group select them, sink them into the ground, do some rug dropping later, get these two things angled so the two are sort of there, and then maybe I'll build something on the front of that later to give it like a work area, put some gas cans down, some tools, you know, whatever kind of maintenance stuff. And now I know I want the guard station to be over there on the top of the rails, sort of near the corner, but not at the corner. So what I want to do is maybe make the top of this boxcar thing a walkway, because I know the settlers will walk on top of the boxcars. And I'm not quite sure how I want to do it. So what I do here, and this is a dodge you'll see frequently from time to time, is I'll put something that I know is really snap happy up there. Like in this case, the warehouse floor pieces are really, really good about snapping, about having other things snap to them. So if I put this thing up as like a guide piece, you know, get it situated just right where it will make sense and they can walk on top of the boxcar, then I can build off of this and theoretically snap things to this or work around this by, you know, build order stuff. Snap other things to it, take them out, group select things around, and you're going to see that here as I try to make an elevated stairway, as I try to change the levels a little bit. But, you know, put the piece in, put a floater in, see if it'll snap. The piece will snap back. So now we'll see if this bridge will snap, and it will not. It's not even close to being friendly with this boxcar unit. The boxcar piece is not good with that particular bridge. So we're going to try and do something else. And right here, I'm like, okay, I need to put something behind there to cover that tree up, cover that gap up. So we're just going to drop this thick junk wall in there. This is my standard go-to dodge for filling wider areas that are, I mean, not wider, deeper areas that are wide, that are one piece wide, but I also want to, you know, pad them out. And this thing works really good for that. But since I'm so close to the edge of the build area and this thing is really buttoned up against the side of that thing, I'm going to have to move that pillar over to the side and closer to the front so that it will stay inside the build area when I go up there. And I'm just going to do it from this angle to see if I can get something good without having to climb up. And I think I did it there. I'm not sure. Let's take a look. Yeah, that's decent. Can I get the rug back out? Yeah, I got the rug back out. Drop the junk fence. Good. It plugs the hole up. Very good. And it looks like it's, you know, shored up like it's supposed to be there in theory. So, yeah. So now we're going to start working our way over to padding this out. Of course, I want to, since there's a wedge of open space over here, I'm just going to stick this tent on top of it, see what I can do with this thing. And turn green. There it is. So now that I know it's green in one place, I can slide it around back and forth, knowing that I do have a good spot in there somewhere and I don't have to move. And that came out pretty nice. The water will, you know, flow off down the hill away from it towards the field, which is, you know, it doesn't make any damn difference, but it makes my internal consistency meter, my internal consistency thing sort of happy. Now we need to move this generator, and I'm like, no, we're going to need the bigger generators. Get rid of that thing. Let's build some big ones and drop them in there. So while this is going on, channel news, of course. If you've been watching, we're getting really close to 2,000 subscriptions. I am pleased, astonished, and somewhat baffled by this, but whatever, it is what it is. I am not ungrateful. I'm still continually surprised that this is entertaining to so many people. So, even if I don't hit 2,000 by Sunday, we're gonna do the 2,000 subscriber special on Sunday, on the Sunday stream. And what it's going to be is I'm going to go through my first 3 characters, who are all vanilla, and show y'all what my first builds look like. I have been tempted, but I have not looked at them. I have not loaded them. I have not browsed them. I have not made a game plan. I'm just going to go in blind and wing it, because I mean, you know, my streams are 3 hours, so I should have sufficient time to cover all their builds, even though there are 3 characters, because they're vanilla, they'll load fast. It won't be a problem. I did sort of debate modding them just to give them clear weather, but you know what? If I do get it, I'll just sit in a chair and wait for an hour or whatever. That's fine. So what I want to do here on this particular settlement, what I think I'm going to do is I am going to have exposed wires and conduits sticking up all over the place. So not the pipe conduits, but you know, the conduit on a pole ones, and we'll see how that goes. That'll definitely be a future video as I wire this settlement, because I've built to the borders on one of the edges already. So the wire glitching thing should be fairly tricky. Should be fairly interesting to do. So I got the power in, I got the basic conduits in. Now it's time to start figuring out what the hell I want to do with this. This is going to be a guard station for sure. It's going to be standing up over the tracks so the guard can see down the hill where that spawn spot comes up. But I have no idea what this is going to look like. I don't know what... I know I want it to be elevated, right? Because I can see the ground goes up here, and I'm going to want it to be up one more level. But these stairs, these wood stairs, do not like to be near the edges of this wood piece, this floor piece. I don't know why. So we're going to have to do something a little bit different. We're going to have to do a different method. I can put it up there like that, but then I can't get the right spacing. So here's where I try to figure things out. Here's this process right here is why I like to do it this way instead of using place anywhere. Because figuring out how to solve this problem is the fun part. Because I know I got my tools, right? I know how to use build order. I know how to use group select. I know how to use different elevations, and I know these pieces will snap. So what I do is I take out the 2 extra pieces, right? Because I know that piece on the right is at the correct height. No matter what, if I can get something to snap to that piece, I can run that walkway all the way underneath here. And I'm looking at it going, is that high enough? Because I'm looking at the right, looking at the left, seeing if the level's high enough. It's like, it looks high enough. Let's see if I can get this to go. Okay, it varies a little bit, but that's decent. Now the challenge is fitting this other piece underneath here, because it doesn't like to go up underneath the stairs. So build order, take the stairs out, snap this piece in, put the stairs back in, and that should do it, right? And then take the other pieces out, boop, 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 and there we go. So without any sort of fancy group select shenanigans or needing a measuring tool or whatever, you can just kind of eyeball it, and if you know the properties of the pieces, especially with that the stairways, those little stairways, because they're soft as hell on the bottom and sides when they're snapping. But when you're putting them in there, they are most definitely not. I'm looking at this going, okay, so we got that down. There's the platform. It's too square. I don't like it. It's too square. So now the trick is keep it level, move it close, far enough away to where it'll be, you know, sort of pathy, you know, to where it'll flow, but also the same height so I can snap another wood piece in there, which I did with that little floor, because I know that little floor with the gap in it, of course, is also very snap-happy. And since it has the hole in it, it looks really good. I'm still working on this. I really want to use this bridge, but it is just not going to work. It is just not going to work. Thankfully, I don't sit here and fart around with it too much. I just like, you know what? It's not going to sink into that gravel stuff. It is just not going to do it. So I'm going to punt and probably, I'm going to guess I'm going to grab a junk fence here. Am I going to grab a junk fence? That's what I usually do to patch those holes. Because, you know, rugging the junk fence, yeah, let's put him up here. Now, of course, we test, right? Always got to test. When I build a structure like this, I want to make sure the settlers can path to it. I don't know where he's going, but hopefully, you know, while I'm farting around with this, he will come back up and I can watch him walk up there. Because if he'll make it up there, then I'm like, okay, cool, problem solved. And yep, going for the junk fence. Now, of course, here I've got it backwards because I haven't realized that I want the supports to be out, not in. But we'll do my normal, you know, turn it around, pick it up, drop it, because this piece likes to be dropped on the thing. And yeah, the settler over there's having problems. He can't quite path to it. Another thing I do frequently is when I'm sinking things and trying to line them up, I will sink them through the piece just so I can see if they're lined up. And in this case, I don't think that's lined up. Yeah, it's not quite straight, I don't think. Is it? I don't know. Let's find out. No, it's pretty good. It does the job. Take the rug out, snap it in place. And then since it's kind of low, we'll put some railings up here just to give it a little bit of texture. Yeah, because those concrete railings like to go up there really easy. And then I've got that, and I'm like, okay, let's test more, see what I've got. And remember, oh yeah, the rails. So now, if I put the rug down, if I put 2 rugs down or 1 rug down, and I put the pillar on the near side, I know I can sink it into the railing and get this thing to go in. Unfortunately, I think I placed this piece wrong, and I have to leave the rug in there because since this gravelly stuff is so weird, I cannot pick the rug back up under the ground like I can when it's in dirt. Yeah, see, I shouldn't be down here lining it up. I should be up on top looking at it. Yeah, see? I figured it out. I haven't even reviewed this, and I'm like, oh, nope, too far out. Gotta be closer. Gotta be closer. So now we fiddle with it a little bit more, get it in there to go in, and is this gonna work? Yeah, that's sunk into the ground, but see, now it's sticking through the thing. I've got it lined up wrong, and now the whole thing's, now it's too close to the structure, so when I try to rug glitch it, it picks the whole thing up because since this ground is so hard, it can't see the rug alone anymore like it could when it was in the dirt. More problems with, more finagling, more fiddling with the thing here. I'm like, yep, nope, can't get the rug out, dude. Nope, it's a hard surface. If you can't sink it, it's not transparent to the cursor and you can't pick up the other thing. And now it's getting dark, so we're gonna go up and transition back out, go back to the daytime, and we're gonna keep going. So yeah, that's what's going on with this. We're gonna keep working on this thing. Now here, this is not gonna be, I'm gonna give you a spoiler, this is not gonna be a completed sort of structure. Okay, it's gonna be the guard stations and some walls, and it's gonna be the beginnings of a fence because I'm not sure if I want a trader caravan here or not. I think I do. I think I'm gonna put a trading caravan here between the guards and the other vendors down there because I know there's an NPC sit spot in the dirt down there by where the fence used to be because that's where the, if a scabber comes up, he'll use the old workstation. So I know there's something under the ground there that settlers are attracted to. So since I know they're going to be there anyway, I like to put other things there that they can use to make it look lived in and active and, you know, whatever. Now here's a problem because I don't move it over far enough and there's a gap, but I decide I can live with this gap. I don't care. It's fine. It's good enough. It's good enough. So looking for the rug, can't find the rug. Okay, fine, whatever, dude, just leave it alone. And there's a big old gap between them, but I'm like, you know what? It's fine. It's good. The tire's covering it. It's fine. So now homeboy here is just sitting up here kind of all by himself, so let's give him some railings. I think I might make this, come back and make this covered. You know, put a roof on it, put one of those deep walls on it or something. Maybe try and group select something into it. But for now, we're going to pad the front out. I can put supports here, right? My inclination at this point is to try and put a shack bridge on the inside of this thing to get some support underneath there. But I don't like punting and using the what are they? The warehouse supports and the barn supports. The little half-height ones that snap super easy. Because I don't know, there's something about those things that doesn't quite look right to me. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I don't like to use those, or I use them very sparingly. So now we need a rug chain here. Thank you to Loco for reminding me about the rug chain. I always forget about the rug chain, so I'm so hell-bent on putting just one rug down. But see, with the chain, I can actually get the concrete pillar over there into the tracks where I can sink it. So we're going to kind of put this thing in the middle, kind of sink it to the sides, kind of lift it up. And right now I'm looking through the floor to see where it's coming out of the ground, so I can make sure it's sunk into the ground properly. That's the one bad thing about building in this game, man. It's hard to check more than one angle at a time, and sometimes I'd like to see both the front of it and the side of it at the same time, so I can see if I'm placing it correctly. Having a free cam would be very, very handy, I think. I would like that a lot. And of course, move the guard station over, get her out of the way, because I'm going to be building down the tracks here. And again, testing the ground, making sure I can sink things, put some junk walls up. So that's what's going on with the old channel. I will be going back to the Conquest build. Right now, I am somewhat unmotivated to do that Minuteman build because I had underestimated just how much I don't like the Minutemen. I'm sorry, folks. I just don't like them. I don't like the implementation. Now, that isn't to say that the whole thing is bad. It's just I don't like the way it was implemented in terms of a building, developing kind of standpoint. Now the good thing is I do have this the Creation Club paint kits, because I do check the Creation Club once a week to make sure there's nothing, you know, that's no cost, no credit that I can pick up, you know, paint jobs and stuff. Like this time around it was the Atom Cat stuff. I'm like, yeah, what the hell, I'll pick it up. Who knows, I may use it at some point, so I might as well get it while it's free, or, you know, no cost, no credits. And so at least when I do the Conquest, when I go back to the Conquest build, it will, the Minutemen guys will have Minutemen, the guards will at least have Minutemen themed armor. And this whole thing right here was tricky as hell, because of course it's partly on the rails and it's partly on the tracks and it's partly on the dirt. So I can't, it's hard for me to find a space to stick it. You know, it's hard to find a good spot to where it looks decent. And there's a little bit much of a gap between it and the wall. I don't really like that. But given the limitations of the scrap mod I've got going and the ground underneath those tracks, that's about as good as it's going to get. So what's the mantra? Good enough. Good enough. Let's put down a conduit, we'll stick it on the rails there, make sure they bolted to the wood or whatever. I could put a turret up there. And then we'll stick another wall in here, and then probably just, yeah, we're getting close to the end here, so I'm going to be putting up one more wall. I thought I was going to put up another one of those, Runo called it something, a Barrett? Something like that, the little turret enclosure like I had on the other side. But I figure since there's a turret up on top, a turret's going to go up on top of that, scaffolding thing, it'll be fine. Now here's a trick I use a lot as well. When I'm lining up my, when I'm lining up junk fences, when I'm sticking them together, I like to try and make the supports on the various pieces line up. Like the support on the left side of the L-shaped piece, I used on the tire piece. I guided the tire piece's support onto its support. So it looks like it's one big unit, you know, like it was all put together. And that's all we got for this time. So we're going to tour it. We're going to look at it from the outside. It looks pretty good. Coming down the hill, it's pretty well fenced off, and you can see the switching station there in the background. So in theory, somebody in the workshop on the second level could see over the wall. This looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. The guard station itself is somewhat bare. I think I like that though. I might put a little abutment on the bottom of it, try and sink it in there, but I don't know if the gravel will let me. Attackers coming from the bottom of the hill will see that, and that looks pretty good. That looks pretty formidable. Enough to where the settlers will not have a problem defending themselves. And then I got a power room in here. I'll probably string up some lights in here or something, and like I said, put some tables in here, or build a little hut of some kind in the dirt, put that up, whatever. So the next time, I guess what we'll do is we'll close this off. We'll close off the side of it here, put a trading outpost in, and then start furnishing, decorating, and finishing it up. So we're going to put that in here. Yep. All right. I want to thank you all very much for subscribing and watching. If you like what you see, hit that like button, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.